Good morning, guys. Dobi Dien. First off, I want to apologize for offending so many people. I didn't realize how mad people were going to be that I went on the news.
Channel. Johnny, thank you for being with us. First, what city exactly are you in?
And to be honest, I don't even watch the news. I think I've said it in other videos. I don't watch any news. So I had no idea how hated RT was, especially RT America. That being said, all news is biased. CNN, Fox News, BBC, Vice News, whatever your favorite channel is, I guarantee you they are all biased. And they all have their agendas and their propaganda that they're pushing. But here's the thing, is if you really hate, whatever, let's say Fox News, because they're too conservative, they're too right-wing, then don't just let them be in their little cesspool where they just kind of echo chamber themselves. Go on there as a guest and express the other side, express your leftist liberal views. If you hate CNN because they're too liberal, they're too leftist, go on and say the other side. Just like us ignoring like the other opinion and just kind of staying in our echo chambers, that's not the way to do it. So my goal with my live stream, my videos showing that everything is okay in Kiev and Ukraine in terms of safety right now and that there's no intimate war happening, isn't to piss anyone off, isn't to get political. If anything, it's the opposite of that, where I don't want people to worry. I don't want people to stress, because as you can see, people's normal lives are still going on. And I understand I'm very privileged that I have a US passport and I have enough money that if things ever did get bad, I could leave, while a lot of people here can't. At the same time, I am invested in this country. I own 2 properties here, and I've made this my new found home. So I can't just easily leave like a tourist. So I'm kind of in this weird position where I'm not Ukrainian, but also I don't really feel like I want to go back to the US, my home country. Actually, if you watch my video from my home in San Francisco, you'll realize that my whole life I've been a little bit lost, right? Growing up as an Asian American and not even really knowing my true ethnic background until I got my DNA test in my 30s. I grew up with kind of a Taiwanese Buddhist culture, but I didn't even know who the statue was because my parents were never religious. They would just say, no, just go say hi to your grandparents and this lady Buddha. And it would just confuse me so much. I had to read the YouTube comments to even figure out or find out that this lady Buddha is the Buddha of compassion, right? So growing up, I never really felt at home until I actually came to Ukraine, which is ironic. I don't know if it has anything to do with some Mongolian blood in me, or just this mix between Asia and the West, kind of half-half. But my dad was actually born on the border of Korea and China, and they fled because of the communists. So when my dad was 3 years old, he fled on horseback with literal gold pieces to Taiwan, and it was a hard, epic journey. So it has a lot of history and connection to me, the old communist times, the old Soviet times, and I am very, very fortunate that I was born in the US and I got to escape it. So what I'm trying to say is my goal of going on YouTube or even accepting the invite on the news channel isn't to get political, because honestly I don't care. I don't care what happens in politics. I don't necessarily care who our president is, because I know that they both suck. In the US, we have this fake democracy where we have this 2-party system, but whoever you vote for sucks. And it's the same cycle over and over. I don't understand how people don't see this. But every 4 or 8 years, people are like, oh, this president sucks. The Republicans suck. Wait till we get a Democrat in. Or wait till we get, the next person in. And then those people suck. And then they're like, oh, no, it's their fault. Let's go back. And I remember thinking like, man, are people even, I didn't even know who Joe Biden really was. I never heard him talk. I didn't know anything about him. And I was like, I wonder if people are voting for him just because they hate Trump or because they actually like Biden and his views and policies. And I think it's just because they hate, really just, a lot of people just really hated Trump. So they're like, oh, let's get this other guy, even though we don't know anything about him. Maybe he also sucks. So I think that's also kind of what's happening, actually really around the world. But politics, man, my best advice is don't listen to any politics. Like, don't watch the mainstream news. But if you want to fight it, you want to combat it, and they reach out to you saying, hey, do you want a platform where you can share what's actually happening and break some of that, you know, MSM, like mainstream media propaganda, and share your side, do it, all right? The US news, when I was back there, seriously, like I said it on my interview, but the US news really like was bombarding me with, you know, just like, oh man, Ukraine is at the brink of war. It's probably happening right now. And it's everything. They were like egging Russia on. Like, I still believe that Russia was just flexing. They wanted to show that they were serious, but they didn't have any intention of actually invading Ukraine again, all right? And this isn't to say it was okay what they did in 2014. I even said on RT during the interview, and I was honestly a bit scared to say this, but I said it. I was like, Ukrainians hate the Russian government, their policies, and what they did in Crimea in 2014.
Since you're on the ground there, I mean, is it true? Is this a myth? Do Ukrainians really hate Russians, or is this all blown out of proportion by the media?
So a lot of Ukrainians hate, you know, the policy or, you know, the Russian government or what happened in Crimea in 2014. But Ukrainians don't hate Russians. You know,
I don't know why everybody kind of skipped over that part, but that's the truth. All right, most of the Ukrainians I've met, all right, I don't know if it's 99.9% or if it's, you know, 93.5%, whatever it is. Right, I was saying the vast majority of Ukrainian people that I've met, that I've heard from, they don't hate Russian people. They may hate the government, they may hate the policies, and they may hate what they did in Crimea and what they're doing there now. But most people, besides the extremists, don't hate other people, right? Like, yeah, when you look through the comments, sometimes, yeah, like the people who are extreme left or right, they're going to be the most vocal. So sometimes it seems like, man, that's, you know, it's crazy. But like the very kind of rational, normal people, they don't hate other human beings for no reason, right? Like maybe you can hate like a few specific people, but like in general to say like I hate an entire race of people who are very close ethnically and culturally to me, that's insane, right? Like, and I'm glad that that's not true. And I hope this doesn't like what's happening with the Russian government and Ukraine doesn't become a generation of young Ukrainians who end up hating Russia or Russian people. You know, like that would be sad, right? So I love this country. Every single, you know, person I met from Russia, like from in Sri Lanka or Thailand or even here, they're just like normal people, right? Like besides what the government does, like I don't like I don't like any government, to be honest. If anything, I want a smaller government wherever I go. So, anyways, I know this is a bit long-winded, but I think a lot of people wanted an update on how I feel. So, again, I'm sorry for offending anyone. That wasn't my intention, and honestly had no idea how hated RT was. So I hope that, you know, if they ask me to come back on, now I'm like, well, I don't want to deal with that hate again, so maybe I won't go on. But at the same time, don't you guys want someone on there that's not spreading, you know, like if they are a propaganda channel, right? Like why wouldn't you want the other side to go on? Like if you guys really believe that they are a Russian propaganda channel and they invited you on to be able to voice your opinion for the other side, it would be hypocritical if you didn't go on. So I encourage you, if you're going to leave a hate comment and you're going to spend the time, being upset at me, go email them and ask to be a guest on their show. It was live, so literally you can say whatever you want and just kind of give a little behind the scenes. There's no, I didn't have a script, right? Like, they watched my YouTube channel and they're like, oh, okay, this guy is, has been in the U.S. He's American, he's living in Ukraine. Let's get him on to voice his opinion to see what's going on. And that's it, all right? There's no pre-approval for what I was gonna say. And, I guess they could have bleeped me live, but they didn't, all right? I didn't say anything too crazy. And the thing is, just because I hate the U.S. media doesn't mean, I think, the Russian media is the best or the Ukrainian media is the best. I don't like any media. I don't like any government. I think that people, if you look around, so I'm at this market here in this China. This is the area I used to live in Kiev before I moved into my apartment. I love this area because there's real Ukrainian people here. There's just normal, average, everyday people. There's these great little shops that we can buy food and clothes. Actually, this is actually owned by a Chinese family. I hope they're not out of business. But you have little clothing shops. You have all these great little places, and this is where I overhear conversations. And granted, my Russian's not very good and my Ukrainian's worse, but I'm learning. I'm working on it. And for anyone who thinks you can pick it up that quickly, try studying it. Try learning these languages. It takes a long time. It's hard. So I am definitely going to learn both languages. All right. I started with the Russian just because it was just more commonly spoken when I came here, 4 or 5 years ago, in places like Odessa and Kharkiv, and even daily in Kiev at the time. And to travel to the former USSR, I want to go to all the stands. I want to go all these places. So learning that language was kind of easier, and plus there's just more material on it. But I'm definitely going to learn Ukrainian as well if I'm going to live here. But it just takes a long time, man. I'm not that smart of a guy. I don't know, I don't know if you guys think I'm some kind of polyglot genius, but I'm really not, all right? So, anyways, this has been going on long enough. This is kind of very impromptu. I'm literally just walking around this neighborhood to get a haircut and to go to IKEA. So, that is it, guys. Signing off, some other people like to do. And I hope you guys, wherever you are in the world, you guys stay safe. You guys don't fall for the media hype, whether, regardless it's from the US news, from Russian news, Ukrainian news, all right? Just live your life. Enjoy. I promise I'll get back to normal travel content soon. I still have 2 videos left from San Francisco that I want to publish. The next one is going to be just about all the food that I ate there and the differences between the restaurants and food here in Ukraine versus in San Francisco, the prices, the service, the taste, all that stuff. So it's gonna be fun. Leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are if I missed anything. But love you guys. Дякую. Спасибо. До свидания. See you guys next one.